ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। हरिः ओम्। पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीं अष्टादशाध्यायिनीं अम्ब त्वाम् अनुसन्दधामि। भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। My namaskars to you all who are listening this talk on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. We are deliberating the verses from chapter number 7, Saptam Adhyaya. The name of this chapter is Jnana Vijnana Yoga. In the last class, we had touched this verse, the verse number 14th. It reads as Daivi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mamevaye Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. So, the meaning of this verse goes this way, that verily this divine illusion of mind constituted of the gunas is difficult to cross over. Those who devote themselves to me alone cross over this illusion. So, Daivi means divine, meaning that it is not ordinary, it is not a creation, manipulation by an ordinary human being. It is divine. Divine in the sense, the Ishvara, the ruler of the universe or the cosmic person. Now, it is his power, it is his, the illusion, the Maya, it is his power. It is created, this illusion is created out of him. This Maya, this illusion, what is that illusion? We will come back to it again. It is made up of these three gunas. And it is very difficult indeed to cross over. Dukkhena atyaya. That is how Shankaracharya Bhagavan describes it. So, dukkhena atyaya, that is duratyaya. So, very difficult to cross over. And he gives the solution that at one part he declares that for an individual of its own, it will be close to impossible to get rid of this illusion, to come out of this illusion. Being within the illusion, he cannot have enough power to get rid of it. And therefore he says, he provides the solution also. That mameva ye prapadyante, mam eva, to me alone, who bows down, who surrender, who propitiates, prapadyante, prapadye, that is worships. From this maya, mayam etam, etam mayam. So from this maya, tarantite, those will survive, they will cross over. So this is the meaning. Now the idea of maya, it comes from the earlier verse, verse number 13, and the verse before. So what is that point? We will see that. So in the 13th verse he said, Tribhir gunamayair bhavaihi evhi sarvamidam jagat mohitam nabhijanati mamebhya param avyayam. So all this universe, sarvam idam jagat, this whole creation is Tribhir gunamayair bhavaihi. So it is made up of the modifications of the three gunas, Tribhi gunai. And these modifications, bhavaha, form out of that. So this is all play of these three frequencies, or that material which is vibrating at different frequencies, hypo, hyper and normal. So default, which is sattva, the way it should be, then hyper, and then below it's the normal level. So sattva, rajas and tamas. Tamas is the hyper frequency and the tamas is the lower frequency. And the higher hyper frequency is the rajas. And he says this world is made up of this all these modifications of these three gunas. They are the qualities. These qualities can change the nature of the subject according to its gunas. So to say, gunas does not translate it as vibrations or frequency. It does not translate it as. We have taken somewhat a parallel so that we can, in a way, for ourselves, it becomes easier for us to understand. That's it. Now, he says, mohitam nabhi janati. The one who is deluded, he uses the word here, moha. So, and that's why many times these words are hyphenated, commonly used together, moha maya. So, moha is the product of maya. Maya is the more fundamental power of which moha is the expression. What is the moha? Moha is tamasic, in which the person misunderstands the opposite thing for the other. So, in the second chapter we see, and this is the root cause of the problem of the Arjuna's confusion, that is Shoka and Maya, Moha, grief and delusion. So, since then, the person who is captivated in Maya, who is captured by Maya, he misunderstands exactly opposite thing for the original thing. So that is moha. So that is the nature of the tamas. In rajas you have confusion what is right. In sattva you have the clear knowledge what is right. In moha You do not have confusion, but you do not have knowledge either. And exactly opposite thing, you will take it for granted as the original. So mohitam, so the person who has misunderstood. Now, why this idea of moha? Here is this idea of misunderstanding. Now, this word has the root in the previous verse. Mohitam nabhijanati mamebhya paramam avyayam. That I, the paramam, the highest, avyayam, which cannot be distinguishable, differentiable. That is, I am the infinite one coherent entity. That super consciousness. I am that paramam avyayam. So I am that consciousness, and the mohitam one, the deluded, do not know me well, different from this what? This world which is made up of, which is the product of the modifications of three gunas. That is the state of delusion. That is the delusion. That is the person who is mohitam, who is deluded. What is the deluded? The deluded cannot make the differentiation from the consciousness with the material, with the world. So he thinks this is real, and he does not see him separate from it, distinct from him. You cannot tell one thing from another. This is delusion. So this individual is mohitam, and this, it has reference to the previous verse, in the 12th verse, where Bhagavan had said in the last phrase that natvaham teshu te mai. He said, echaiva satvika bhava rajasas tamasascha ye matta eveti tan vidhi. This is what he has said in the first 3 quarters of this verse. That while he was saying that I am everything in this universe, that I am the seed, eternal, I am the intelligence of the intelligent, I am the glory of the glorious, I am the strength of the strong, I am the liquidity of the water, I am the effulgence of the sun and moon, I am the Omkar in the all Vedas, I am the manliness in man, I am that sweet smell of the earth, I am the tejas of the all glorious thing. I am the asceticism of the ascetic. So this is what everything he said. And then he said, not only this, he said all this. Echaiva satvika bhava rajasas tamasascha ye, means all these bhavas, all this creation, whether sattvic, whether rajasic, or whether tamasic, everything that comes forth from me. This he said. But here he puts the rejoinder, and so that Arjuna should not become confused, and he clarifies Arjuna, Bhagwan Sri Krishna. He clarifies himself in this last part, in the last quarter of the verse, where he says, Na tu aham teshu te mai. This is what he said, that I am not in them, they are in me. And we had taken up this part and given almost a whole class to understand this phrase, that I said this is very important, and citing you various references from Sri Krishna and by Swami Swarupanandaji, how differently, and Bhagwan Shankaracharya himself, he takes a very simple example or simple explanation, that he says that I am not in control of these bhavas, but they are rather in control of me. This is how he provides the verb control and makes the meaning simple. But when we see, when Bhagwan is talking about his presence everywhere, now where does the idea of control comes here? So that is not the idea. We are talking about the presence. So it must refer to the presence. And in that context, if we see that I am not in them, the meaning of that is the whatever modifications. I am the soul of everything. I am the seed of everything. It means that I do, and by meaning of this, I am not in them. Meaning is that I am not the content of it. I do not contain in it. I do not contain in the material. Because he is the ever sakshi substratum upon which this illusion is projected. He cannot be the content of it. And that's why I say they exist in me. I do not exist in them. They exist in me because this whole illusion, it comes forth from me, it exists in me through my Maya. So when a magician shows a magic, a play, okay, he is not in them, he is separate from them because he is causing the illusion. That illusion rests with him. He does not he does not exist in the illusion. This is the meaning. Now this is the Maya. We take one thing granted for another. This is the moha. This is the wrong understanding. This is the moha. This moha, this wrong understanding is caused by this faculty called as moha. This is dominated by the tamas. This is Maya. And to what he is again referring? That the person who is deluded thus, he will misunderstand. He will not be able to differentiate what is material and what is conscious. That consciousness is never mixed with the world. This so-called reality of ours is material. He is transcendental. He is present everywhere, but not in the sense of the content. Like seed is in the fruit, not in that sense. हमारे हृदय के अंदर ईश्वर है, that God resides as consciousness within us, not in the sense of content. That you dissect an human being, you dissect his heart and you find their Atman. Not in that sense. Consciousness is not the content of the matter. This has to be clear. Matter is not so superset of the consciousness, but rather matter is the subset of the consciousness. And he says that means always when we are talking about the immanent or the transcendental aspect of God, immanent meaning that God is everywhere, God is in my heart, your heart, in every being's heart, in everything. That is immanent aspect of God. Transcendental, it transcends, it is not this material. So this materialism, even including thought, emotions, ideas, all your realms of thought and words, they have to be crossed over, and then only consciousness in its purest form would be realizable. Then it would be realized. So this is the transcendental aspect of that consciousness. Now we should not mistake it one thing for other. That he says because he is saying that I am everywhere. You should not mistake me in that way, that I am not the content of it. And that's why he said, that's why this Maya, this illusion, what this creation, which is made up of these modifications of three gunas, that is very difficult. Because it is very real for us. Very real for us. It matters for us. It makes us happy, sad, sorrow. It angers us. It challenges us. We are entangled in it. We are driven, we are pulled, we are dragged by it. We are condemned in this prison. And for an individual, in its clutches, in the grasp of this Maya, would be very difficult to come out of it, to get rid of it, and to have knowledge in its own, in its purity, in its nascent purity. The way it is, that would be difficult. Unless, so only what is the way out? the creator of this illusion, that Ishvara, to whom one must surrender, one must propitiate, one must bow down to. Holding him by his grace, it might become slowly, gradually, step by step, easier to get rid of this delusion of this grief, sorrow, happiness, and merits. And he will come out of this delusion slowly and will be able to see the truth as it is. So this is the meaning. So this is very popular verse number 14th of chapter number 7. So you can remember this verse always. Daivihesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mamevaye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. So this is the verse. This reminds us that this world, this life of ours, so very well we are stuck in it that we cannot think anything out of this. And considering our Shastras that this is an illusion, and we choose to hold hard, hold fast onto this, now what can be done? It is I don't want to leave it. It would be impossible for me because this is how I am made up of. So only by the grace of God, the heart of the individual is illumined. He sees some light. He sees that there is the reality, there is the truth exists apart from what I know. And slowly it becomes easier for him to leave this, to loosen his grip on that, to part away from it and focus his heart, his soul, his mind, and let loose himself in the true meditation and attain that oneness with the reality. So this is the import of this verse. Daivihesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mamevaye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. So this is the 14th verse. But he says, now I have given the solution. I have given the solution. But then everybody would cross over, everybody would, win this battle over. But this does not happen. Why it does not happen? He says, this is the nature of the Maya. That not everybody is, inspired, motivated and inclined. And why so? He explains. Namam dushkrutino mudhaha prapadyante naradhamaha mayaya apavrutajnana asuram bhavamashritaha. This is, he says, several conditions are meant here. That in this situation, in these conditions, a person will not be inclined to contemplate on God or to feel like to bow down, to surrender, to pray plentifully to Him, to even consider this reality as illusion and to get rid of it. Even this is very rare. This awareness, this knowledge is very rare. That when that knowledge comes and he understands, if there is a sense of bondage, a sense of slavery, and then only there is a question of desire to be free of it. If I consider this is something cozy and about merrymaking, then there is no question of getting free of it. So he says, why does this happen? So dushkrutinaha, the people, due to the influence of their karma phalas, dushkruti. So who constantly engage. What is now sukruti and dushkruti? Simple, taking the test given by Swami Vivekananda. Simple test. He says what is moral and what is immoral. What can decide? One test, he said, selfishness. This selfishness can decide what is moral or immoral, what is ethical or unethical, what is sukruti or dushkruti. Whether you are trying to sacrifice others' interest for yours, that is selfish. When you are trying to sacrifice the lower interest for the greater good, then that is unselfish. How your mind is oriented in taking a decision. Sukruti and dushkruti. So only pampering to yourself, its protection, its propagation, its accumulating and multiplying the instruments of its comfort and pleasure. And for that, disregarding even significant rights of others. You trample upon them because you have opportunity and you have the might. This is dushkruti. So one person who is often doing that, so that person's, his mind would be clouded. That person, it would be difficult, it would be impossible for such an individual to think of God or to surrender or to pray or to become aware of this knowledge. That this is an illusion and I have to get rid of it, I have to be free of it. This would be difficult for such an individual who is only catering to his lower self, its fears and its greed. Love and bhai. These two things are propelling his life. So for such a person it would be difficult. Second person, now suppose one person who is doing lot of such things, but by such doing wrong things, terrible things, horrible things to other beings, we see they have been emancipated and become saints. There are instances that there have been complete 180-degree turnabout in the lives of these people by the touch of the soul of some great soul, some Mahatma, and his life is changed. For example, we can take the story of the Rishi Valmiki. And there are many stories thereafter, there are many instances thereafter in our culture, in our tradition and in our history. So people who have changed altogether. So that is only dushkruti, he can turn it off. But there is another condition here, moodha. So if moodha is a person of the low intelligence, who is mohita, who mistake the exactly opposite thing for the other. So a person, suppose only his dushkruti, he can be saved. There is a chance of his emancipation by some good luck, by the grace of God. Even if somebody is only moodha of low intelligence, he also can survive. But if he is dushkruti as well as moodha, then there is no chance. You are the evil person as well as you are dumb, then there is no chance. You are dumb, there can be possibility. You are dushkruti, you are evil fellow, there is still chance. You are evil as well as dumb, there is no chance. That's what Bhagavan says. Namam dushkrutino moodaha prapadyante. He says these fellows, they are adhama among the human beings. Naradhamaha. These people cannot worship. They can. Why? Means it is not Krishna is saying that you come worship me, the son of Vasudeva, the son of Devaki, a ruler of Mathura. No, not the person he is referring to. When all the time he is saying I, because in that yoga avastha, he is continuously identifying himself with the Ishvara. Because he is Ishvara Avatar himself. That's why he is all the time saying, me. To me whom he does not propitiate, does not surrender, does not bow down to. For them there is no way out. Mam eva ye prapadyante. Unless and until you surrender to me, there is no way out from this Maya. He makes it very clear. He says that it is close to impossible to get rid of this illusion. It is very mighty because it is the illusion created by the Ishvara, the ruler of the universe. You have no power. You have no power. But the way out is me, the Ishvara itself. You surrender, you propitiate, you connect to him, and then you will see the approach, the way out of this. But these kinds of fellows, so you should not be unfortunate on both counts. You can be evil or you can be dumb. Don't be both. So, don't be both. So, otherwise, we do not know, And these people are namam dushkruti no mudha prapadyante naradhava. These people are the worst kind of people among the human beings. And he says, by the power of this Maya, their knowledge is stolen, it's robbed. Apavruta jnana. They cannot have knowledge. And these people are asuram bhavam ashritaha. They have taken refuge, they have taken the shelter of this unhuman, demonic attitude, asuram bhavaha. And in that he finds the pleasure. In that, in its pain and happiness, that's what he thinks, that this is the great thing. And we see these kinds of people. It is not, they are rare. We see these kinds of people. Even it's, means complete loss and complete debacle and complete ruin, even at the cost of their life, they feel it glorious. Asuram bhavam ashrita. So he thinks it is worthy. So even the pain and suffering of it, he does not have anywhere this idea to get rid of it, to rise above it. So you will see plenty of such examples that people nonchalantly commit grievous or heinous sins against the other human beings. And they have no regret, no compunction, no guilt about it. So, this is the kind of the people. They may not worship God. So, who worships God? Then he says, there are 4 kinds of people. Arjuna, these people worships me. So, Chatur Vidha, 4 ways. People, Janaha, Bhajante Mam. They pray to me. And these are Sukruti. So, they have some backing, some wealth, some capital of doing some good, at least Sukruti. So, they have some good at their disposal, and by the power of which they are, they are inspired, they are motivated and inclined to propitiate, to pray, to worship me. So who are these 4 ways or 4 kinds of people? One, he says, Artaha, the one who is in great pain or misery and suffering greatly, so he might remember me. That is one way. So meaning that is acceptable to Bhagwan. You never remember him, but now you are in fix, you are in jam, and you remember him. It is acceptable. All right. You all the time running about your various desires, about various things of the life, to get this, to get that, to protect that, yoga and kshema. To get something is yoga, and to engage in protecting it is kshema. सो घर चाहिए, उसको लिए कंपाउंड वॉल चाहिए, फिर उसके लिए अच्छा से बाहर से प्लास्टिक चाहिए, वेदर प्रूफ पेंट चाहिए, उसका फिर इंश्योरेंस चाहिए, फायर इंश्योरेंस चाहिए, थेफ्ट इंश्योरेंस चाहिए. सो यू गेट समथिंग and you try to go on protecting it, and you are engaged into that. So because there are two things: greed, which propels you to get something, get more, that is yoga, and kshema, that is to protect what you already got. It sprouts from the bhaya. So greed and fear, lobh and bhaya, one positive, one negative, these are the two motivators for human beings. So this is how this world is propelled, by these two forces, by these binaries. One is positive, one is negative. Lobh and bhaya. To get some more or to have fear of losing it. These two things. So this world goes on. So artha, you are engaged in that, but now where you are in jam, you immediately remember God. It's all right. And he is listening. So he says, even those people are sukruti. They have, he wouldn't remember me. Even in that case, if he would be dushkruti. There is, in this course, he have done some good. Sacrifice his own self-interest and tried to do some good to others on the basis of it. So our punya, if it has any power, it is here, that it can channel us towards God. That is the only benefit of punya. Forget about what it gives you after you die and go to Swargaloka and whatnot. Your punya can, according to Bhagavan, by his own word, this is the power of the punya, that it can channel you towards God. It can inspire, it can give you that flash that there is reality, higher reality, apart from this material reality, transcending this material reality, which can crack this illusion, and a ray of light can come through it, come to this darkness, out of this system, out of this illusion, and may reach you. That can happen by your punya. And punya or virtue essentially means self-sacrifice. That you keep off your immediate gratification of your senses, of your desires, and try to share with someone something. Try to do good to someone, physically, or by way of talking, or by way of giving knowledge, etc. It can be in any form. So this is the one person, artha. Then he says, the second is the jidnyasu. So the one who has taken the path of this spiritual realization, and he is trying, doing his best, he is praying. So he will be praying to God definitely. He would be praying to God to find the way. He is stuck, he is dumbfounded, he is not in misery, but he is not able to go anywhere. That is jidnyasu. So jidnyasu will pray to God. That is. Then he says another third category, artharthi. So the person not exactly suffering, but the artha or any resources of this world, when he is at the end of it, and taken over by the by that situation, and not able to think how to solve this riddle, how to solve this problem, not able to find the solution, and he might pray to God. Artharthi. So this is also acceptable to God. So you pray to him for money, it's okay, no problem. Bhagavan Krishna says, I even hear that, no problem. You are Artha, you are praying to him, no problem. You are Jidnyasu, you want to know, you want to have knowledge, you pray to him, all right. Artharthi, you want money and you pray to him, it's all right. You can ask these three things. And Jnani, he says, the fourth one. Now he is the different category. He is not Jidnyasu. He has reached the culmination. He had knowledge, and now he prays to him not to ask for anything, but because that's what has only left for him. Because everything is meaningless. Now he has realized. And that Jnani pray because it is his own self. So it is the only worthwhile thing which he can contemplate, which he should give his mind to. Everything is tiresome. Everything is worthless. This Jnani pray. So of course, these all four people pray to him, and he listens to them. This is what he is saying to Arjuna. So this is what Bhagavan says. These are the four peoples. Chaturvidha bhajante mam. Jana sukruti no Arjuna. Sukruti no Arjuna. Sukruti naha Arjuna. Artho jidnyasu artharthi. Jnani cha bharatarshava. So these four people pray to him, and he listens to them. So if he wouldn't be listening, he wouldn't be admitting that these four kinds of people pray to me. So there is no question about that. So admitting his presence, admitting his existence, admitting his position is fundamentally essential in the prayer. Even if you want money, it's all right. Even if you want to salvage your situation, Artha, it's all right. You fundamentally accept his position that he is the Ishvara. That will solve your problem. This is what he says. So do not have doubt in this. Try and taste it. So you should have conviction. That is the secret of the prayer. You should have absolute conviction into that. So, but his ways are inscrutable. The way he will deal with the situation, we do not know. You do not doubt that. That should be your position. So these are the four people: Artha, Jidnyasu, Artharthi, and Jnani. These four people, due to their Purva Shubha Karma, they tend to worship God. This is the 16th verse of 7th chapter. So 17th verse he says, so all these four people pray. That is wonderful. But he says, whom do I love? Whom do I love? This comes in this verse. That among all these four, many times we say that है ना, भगवान को प्रेम करना चाहिए, ईश्वर को प्रेम करना चाहिए. किसी साधु ने कहा कि रे ऐसा भी सोचो कि तुम्हारा जीवन ऐसा हो कि उसको भी तुम पे तुम्हारे ऊपर कुछ प्रेम आ जाए. एक्चुअली ये ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. तुम तो ईश्वर को प्रेम कर रहे हो, ये ठीक है, पर ईश्वर को तुमसे क्यों प्रेम हो? तुम्हारा जीवन भी ऐसा कुछ हो. इस तरह से सोचो तो सब समझ में आ जाएगा, है ना। बोले हम प्रेम कर रहे ईश्वर से, हम प्रेम कर रहे ईश्वर से। अरे ईश्वर क्यों हमसे प्रेम करे, ये भी एक बार सोच के देखो। तो सेम थिंग here comes in this 17th verse. He says, Tesham, among these four, Jnani, Nitya Yukta. See, Jnani, he is constantly dwelling upon me. All other these three people, they seek something in return. He is not expecting anything because he has got the knowledge, he has got the realization, he dwells in it, that everything is mithya, maya and Brahm. This alone is the reality. The consciousness, the Ishvara is the alone reality. He dwells upon him. That is the only thing of joy or of contemplation for him. Tesham jnani nitya yukta eka bhaktir vishishyate. So he has one pointed devotion. His mind is not differentiated, divided into several other aspects of life. For many other people, this is how it happens. They do not have this eka bhaktir vishishyate. Ours is, among many other duties, our spiritual or our religious life is one compartment. It is one of the items of our schedule. कि सुबह उठ के ये काम करना है, उसके बाद ये काम करना है, इसके बाद ये करना है, दोपहर का खाना वाना फिर सारा पकाया, दोपहर का 1 बजे अभी भगवान के सामने अगरबत्ती लगा रही है। ठीक है, बट दिस केस इज डिफरेंट. नाउ द पर्सन फॉर द ज्ञानी इज, ही इज नित्ययुक्त. Even for that person, even for that jnani, all the time there are several instances in our history, tradition, we see that. So jnani is not only that he is not doing anything, that's why he is only contemplating about God. Even the person not doing anything, he will be doing something, at least sitting somewhere, at least going about something, at least he will have to eat or take care of the body or its natural order whatsoever. So there would be something, he would be talking to someone at least. Is he continuously meditating? No, that is not what is happening. Nitya Yukta is the jnani who lives in that realization. He has such a indelible impression that he is never mistaken of this transient reality, apparent reality, and what is the ultimate reality, Paramarthika Satya, and this Vyavaharika Satya. He is never confused. And this is what here Bhagavan had said in the 13th verse, Mohitam nabhijanati mamebhe paramavayam. That the person who is deluded, he cannot tell me separate from this materiality. This does not happen with jnani. So jnani can be a household lady, a homemaker woman, who is constantly engaged in different chores of her everyday life, including serving her children, son, or elderly. But she could be jnani, nitya yukta. And that's why she is eka bhakti. And that's why she is vishishyate. Such a person is vishishyate. Now he or she is something special. He is not like other. They are motivated in certain situation, propelled and pushed by certain situation to contemplate and call upon God. He is not like that. He or she is not like that. Jnani is all the time dwelling in it. We see the life of Holy Mother. We see the life of Sri Ramakrishna. We see the life of other great people. Even at certain point of time, means if we see the life of the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, even some householder disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, even the life of the parent, or what information we have about the parents of these disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. And we see that these people used to live such kind of life. Most of them being the householders, and they had very exalted spiritual dimension to their life. So this is entirely possible. Me and you, probably we may not be able to do that, and we think it unconceivable, but that is our problem. So this person's devotion is not divided. It is not one of the schedule of his daily routine. Eka bhaktir vishishyate. Through that Eka bhakti, one-pointed devotion, there are several nice stories of the devotees that at one temple one pujari used to worship, and so he used to see that after worship and all that, he cleans that image of the Bal Gopala, beautiful vigraha, and what happens that somebody just puts at somewhat means after that bhog and all that, a pound full of household waste upon him, and he is livid with anger. He said, how it is happening? And he is keeping watch and something, everything, but every day is happening. He said, terrible, how is this happening? How is this happening? So he cannot find the solution. So in that means, and he cannot see that. So day after day, so he says that I will go out. Probably Bhagwan is not accepting my this one worship. So he decides to go about, and so that it will free his mind somewhat of his grief. So that Pujari Mahoday, he is going about the things and talking to people. He is visibly distressed, and he thought means maybe if he spent some good time with some devotee, which about whom he might not have ever met earlier, and to so it will relax him a bit, and probably he will take food in his or her house, something like that. It was in his mind, so that will probably bless him and may be able to find the solution to these things. So he is going about inquiring or finding that who is a great devotee lives here nearby. So what happens? So somebody refers him to a old lady. He has come recently there, and supposed to be very devoted and very exalted in her spiritual life. So what does she do? She does not do anything. She is doing like any other old woman in the house. Nothing much. So, or household work. So it's morning time about. So when household ladies, they are doing their everyday chores of their house, and he happened to go near that hut, and he accidentally, just coincidentally, he comes across that very moment when she has swept her house, clay house, with all the dust and all that, whatever is the missa, and from that compound she is throwing that pot full of it, saying Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. So she is throwing that, she is continuously doing everything in that same spirit, always. So while throwing that dust also, she is saying Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. So she is not even aware that she is doing something, and it is acceptable to God, and then it clicks to him, that Pujari Mahoday. So all this waste is coming from this woman, because she is throwing, and she is very devoted to Sri Krishna, and she is unaware what everything she is offering. So this is also being offered to Sri Krishna, and it is being accepted by him. So this is a drishtanta, a case we can take for reference at what could be Eka Bhaktir Vishishyate. So Bhagavan says that among these four, this Jnani who is Nitya Yukta Eka Bhaktir Vishishyate, so he is the greatest. The second part of this verse is remaining, we will take in the next class. Till then we will take the break. Alright. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.